Hello everybody, today I would like to talk about custom functions, which is a feature that H2 has that allow the database to call Java methods in our application. And I think this can be really useful for test environments or when we need to initialize some values or pass some information to some queries. And that only exists in some specific algorithms that we implemented in our code. For production environment, I don't think it's a good idea, but for testing environments, I think it's a great idea because sometimes we wish that some of the features that we have in Java could be inside the database to make our life easier when we are testing, and H2 can help you on that. Let's see how you can do it. So the first thing, what we have is just to create our function. Imagine that this is a Java function, a regular Java function. There is no funny imports here, no H2 imports here, just a regular, simple, raw Java function that generates a GUID using the Java util with the random with the toString and returns a string. That's it in a class named H2 custom functions. Okay, so now in our H2 database, this is the class that we are using to initialize the database. So we have our get connection that creates a database, and I'm specifying here the name of the database to be created, and it should be in memory, like you can see here. The database is H2 and follows the JDBC protocol, okay, with a regular SCA password used in H2. That's how we create the database. Then I have another method, initialize DDL, which allow us to create the objects that we want to exist in the database. So I want to exist a table like users. It's not important for the custom functions, but I think it's always a good thing to have both things so we don't see H2 as a weird database. It's a regular database, okay, but with extending things. So we have users like ID, auto increment, username, password, email. This is a common table that can be used in any relational database server. But now we have a different statement here that I'm creating. I created here the users table, but now I'm creating another object in the database, which is called alias. So we have a create alias, and I'm giving this name like we did here users. This is our name, and now we specify the link to our code. So we use the package like this, the class H2 custom functions you can see here, and then generate GUID, which is the name of the method, and it doesn't have any parameters, but you can add parameters. It's okay. I didn't want to complicate things, and this seemed a quite simple example and and it should be clear how this works. But if you want to add parameters, it works. Okay, it's no problem. There is no, let's say, impediment to use parameters in this alias. Okay, so we have create alias here. Even if you have parameters, you don't have to specify nothing here. It's only when you call the method that you should specify the parameter. So at this time, we create a table for users and an alias, call it getWith. Okay, so now we have this code, so we get the connection, so we should have a database here. We initialize the DDL, meaning that we'll create the users, the table users, okay, and the alias. Now I'm using the DAO. It's a class that I've created. If you are following my videos, you already know what it does. It just adds a user, inserts into, okay, and this one gets users, so we can display the users that exist on the database. Nothing new here, just common SQL stuff, okay. And then I just add 3 users, like these, different users, and now I'm displaying the users, so you see this database working normally, like the other database. And now let's get the weird stuff. So I'm calling 3 times and generates a GUID, but inside the H2. So I'm calling this method get GUIDs from database. Okay, maybe it was a better idea to move it to users now, but it's not users. That's why I put it here. It's a method it's here, which is this one, get GUIDs from database. It receives a connection, but it's working like a DAO somehow, like the same as users DAO. But yeah, to create a DAO just only for this method, it's strange. But it's a good idea to create something like custom functions or extended functionality DAO, something like that. Why not? Or database utils DAO, for instance. Okay. So this is a query. So select, you can see it's a regular select. Get GUID, again, you can see this name that we should use here, not this one. So this is the alias. If this method have parameters, we could have it here, like for instance 4, but it's not a good idea this time because the method doesn't have any parameter. But in the case that you decide to put some parameters, just pass the parameters that you want. For instance, column names. Maybe you want to hash, let's say, username or password, something like that at the database level. When you are doing tests, why not? So, and now, when you do this select, just create a statement, execute the query as a regular result set. It will return one row with one value, which is a string, and I'm getting the string and return it here. This is what this method is doing. So in our main, I'm doing this 3 times, so we expect to see 3 different widths because they are random. Okay. So let's execute this. So we expect to see 3 users and 3 widths. Let's say run. And you can see here the 3 users that were inserted in the table in H2. And you can see these 3 values here. These ones. This one and this one generated inside the database, meaning that we can use this kind of information inside database. Imagine that you want to generate passwords. You are doing a test and want to generate users with passwords, and you have a specific hash method to hash the passwords, and you don't want to call all the code in your application just to make sure that you are generating correctly the passwords. You can just link a specific method that you have in your code to inside the database, and when you are populating the database with data to be tested, you can just call the method and you hash passwords, and you can generate all kinds of stuff that Java can do that SQL can't. And I think it's a great idea. That's the features that I want to show you. I'm sure that you will have a lot of examples where you can apply this if you develop code and you develop tests. And I'm sure that it was a great addition to your Mind toolbox, let's say. At least on my side, it was. Okay, see you next video.